I was doing games and I was doing stories and like I would come to the rink sometimes, but it was a lot of like watching and learning. And then like freshman year was obviously like when we started doing Monday Question. And like that was like
I lived for those. I literally lived for those.
Huge. And like then you saw other teams picking it up and then we'd be like, oh my God, like they took our question. We'd be like we thought it was cool though in the moment. And like I think developing the players' personalities was huge for us, but in a way that still respected like their boundaries.
Maggie Pilibosian, welcome to Hail to Her.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
So excited to chat with you. You're an icon in social media from your time at Michigan and now as a manager in your first year out of college at the USHL. So take me back to how it started, how you initially got into a love for hockey and social media.
Okay, so when I was younger growing up, my family had Red Wing season tickets. So my family's had season tickets since like 1962. It like came from my grandpa.
Wow.
He was like a huge Red Wings fan. Like he would like go on trips. He would drive to Florida every year and he would make us like come and like physically tape the Red Wings games because he didn't want to miss anything and like he'd come back and watch them all.
That's so cute.
So like that's where it came from. And then my dad played hockey like just like beer league, still plays sometimes. And then I think as I grew up, like as you saw like during the Olympics, like Michigan is just a hub for like a lot of great hockey players. And I was fortunate enough to be like surrounded by a lot of my guy friends just played. So I kind of got involved that way just with my guy friends playing. And then I think as I got older, I was honestly surrounded by a lot of people who just had like a lot of love for the game. And I always saw it from like a competitive standpoint, but I never saw it from like an emotional one. Mm-hmm. And I think that was like a really cool way to see the game because you like from an outside, like, yeah, you play sport when you're younger, but like at this level, of course, like, you know it, it's like you're so bonded with a team. And like, I feel like you don't realize that from the outside unless you're like working with them. So for my freshman year, I'm the youngest of four. I have three older sisters. And
did they go to Michigan?
One went to Michigan.
Okay.
One actually played club lacrosse.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We've never
and
talked
then
about this before.
I know. And one swam in college, and then one was at state.
Okay.
And then, so when I got here, none of my sisters did Greek life. So I like kind of like was like, oh, should I rush? Like, I don't know. And I just ultimately was like, it's not for me. I have a lot of friends in it, and I think it's great for them, but it just wasn't my thing. And one of my friends from high school, he was actually doing analytics. I have no idea how he got involved, but he was a freshman too. And I was like, oh my God, like, how did you get involved? Like, I want to do that. And I hopped on a call with Evan Hall, who's the hockey operations there now. And I remember like him calling me and him being like, what do you want to do? Like, here are the different fields like we have, like, what are you interested in? And I remember being on the phone with him and he's like, I was in stamps. And I remember him being like, oh, like, who's your favorite artist? I had no idea. Like, I literally, like, I think I searched it up and I was like, Leonardo da Vinci. Like actually, if he sees this, he's actually going to be so scared. Like, he was like, you're in art school. And I was like, no, like, I have no idea. So, like, I said that. And then he connected me to who my boss was for 4 years, Christy. And then freshman year, I went and did an exhibition game. And it honestly changed so much through the years. But, like, that first game, I was like, oh, I love it here. And I love, like, the vibe. And she liked me. And so I just stayed on and it kind of grew from there.
So did you have presence on like TikTok, Instagram, social media before you started with Michigan hockey? Like, how did you get into wanting to build a social media network?
Oh my God, no, I had no presence. Like, I loved social media and I like liked posting for like the love of the game, but like I didn't post anything like I was doing day to day.
Okay.
No, like I think sophomore year it was when our team at Michigan was really good, and I think we got the chance to travel to Ohio State for like the game, and like it was our first chance to travel. And I think I vlogged like my day in the life, like one random day, and like people just loved it. And we were like, oh my God, people like really are interested in seeing like what we're doing, especially traveling, because I think a lot of girls at other schools like didn't get the chance to do that. That was something Michigan was like allowing us to do. And then I honestly just kept growing from there. And I think like a big part of it was like I had a good team at Michigan that like they all were kind of posting. So we were building off each other. And then it was like, of course, like social media for the team came first. But then it was like we had all this extra stuff that we were in and we were hanging out and like there was downtime and we would video ourselves. And I think that's really where it came from. Like I never thought I would post like for people to see ever.
Yeah. I think it's really special because you obviously are giving your blood, sweat, and tears into putting everything you have into this hockey program and building a social media presence with them. And so the second you got the chance, like I'll throw a day in my life on there, I remember seeing it and being like, this is so cool. And the fact that, you know, you were able to share that as well, I feel like is something that needs to happen more because there's a reason why the stuff is going viral because people are like you are putting work into it like that.
Yeah, like I don't think people, like at least I don't think there was a ton of it when I started. Like I truly don't think I remember like going on TikTok and seeing all these like sports girls posting stuff. Like I truly think like it started, I was in an era that it just happened to like be starting and it was awesome.
That's really cool. So talk to me through obviously your development and being a social media coordinator with the team, a team of such high caliber athletes. And I mean, Michigan hockey is so iconic on social media. Like it's all over everyone's For You page because it's the way that you guys work the algorithm and do trends and stuff like that. How were you able to kind of kickstart all of that?
I think freshman year coming into that specific team, right? It was like Owen Power, Kent Johnson, like Maddie Beniers, Brendan Brisson, like that was crazy. And like when you come into that, you're kind of like lock in because it's like there's a lot of people with a lot of like standing within the hockey world that like need to be seen in a specific light. So I think freshman year was more just like I was doing games and I was doing stories and like I would come to the rink sometimes, but it was a lot of like watching and learning. And then like freshman year was obviously like when we started doing Monday Question. And like that was like
I lived
huge.
for those. I literally lived for those.
Huge. And like then you saw other teams picking it up and then we'd be like, oh my God, like they took our question. We'd be like we thought it was cool though in the moment. And like I think developing the players' personalities was huge for us, but in a way that still respected like their boundaries.
I think that's really cool because there's so much on social media, but the fact that you were able to, like you were in the power position, you had the ability to make or break somebody's image just based off of how you presented them making a smoothie or walking up and answering a certain question. And it was really cool to see the personalities of those guys in that way. How were you able to be so creative with like making a smoothie? How do you come up with things like that? Those fresh ideas?
I think a big part of it originally was like I had an awesome boss and like she's someone I still talk to literally every day and she just gave me so much creative freedom. Like it was more so like if you had an idea, it was more like run with it until someone tells you to stop. Like she would always be like when we traveled, she would be like go wherever you can until someone's like you can't go there. Like I think it was big of just like trial and error. And I think at the beginning, like sophomore year, I think a big thing for me was like, how do I evoke emotion in the audience? I think that was like my big thing. And it still is. I think it's like awesome to be able to like connect with people. Like I want people to like feel and see like what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of time it's like, oh, like these players are so connected, like deeply, like honestly love each other. And it's like, how do I showcase like fans that like, that's what the feeling is at the rink.
Yeah.
And then I think like junior and senior year when I was really comfortable around the guys, I think it became like, how do I poke fun at them? Like, I think it was like for the smoothie videos, it was like those edits, like truly, that is just my humor. Like that is just like you, like people were like, oh my God, like, how did you come up with that? I'm like, no, like I was just straight like making fun of them in the way that like was okay to do. Like, oh, like they're dropping things, they're saying funny things. And it's like, that's
why are you adding this to your smoothie?
And it's just like, those are the things they say, like they would be like, are you kidding around? Like every day. And I would be like, I wouldn't think twice about it, but then like I threw it up and people were like, that's so funny. Like people don't talk like that. Like things or sayings they have, like aren't they like the normal person walking around isn't, they're not saying things like that. And like people truly do think it's funny. So like, I think honestly, I just went for it in a way that was like, maybe people will respond to like what I think is funny because honestly, every day I'm walking around the rink and like I am their audience. Like truly, like I am laughing with them. I'm laughing at them sometimes and they're laughing at me sometimes, but like that was the dynamic I had, and I think it was awesome to kind of showcase that to like TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah. Well, I think it really does stem from having a strong woman who's probably one of the only women in the hockey world at Christy in her position to kind of instill those values in you and give you that creative freedom. But I think it's really interesting, and I'm glad you said that about it being your humor, because it worked. And I think it really shows your personality through the content that you create, even though your face isn't in a lot of the stuff. I remember watching some of these edits, like the smoothie ones, the Monday questions, and being like, I need to find out who's doing their social media, which I did, obviously, and figure out how to edit my videos like that. Because I would literally search up every day to see if a new one was posted. And I'm like, it really is so cool because that is you. Yeah. And no one would have known that if you hadn't have literally just told me that.
And I think like after a while people would be like, I know Maggie edited. Like we would see it in the comments, we'd be like, I know Maggie edited this. But like truly like being able to like kind of transfer it to like the interns I was working with, and I think eventually like people didn't know who was editing it because it was like, I think eventually you're all hanging around the same people. Everyone's going to get kind of the same vibes and like humor. Everyone's going to get it.
Yeah. So how were you able to balance this with a busy school schedule? Like you were a full-time college student. How could you be at everything with the boys during practice and games and travel and also be your own student?
My goal was like to be a second semester senior with like no class. And I did it. I had one class my second semester senior. It was awesome. And I think freshman year was pretty normal. Like I think honestly, like freshman year, my first semester, I think I took like 14 credits. Like I was not on track like to be graduating without like with having one class second semester. But I think I did always do spring term because I think that like eventually like it was like the boys were here during spring term and like that was something like other colleges weren't doing. And it was like if you like rented an apartment or whatever, like you had that the whole year. So I was like,
so why not stay?
Right. I might as well stay in it. So I would take like a spring class sometimes. But I think the biggest thing was like any downtime I had at the rink, like I had my computer with me. And like we would sit there and we'd watch practice and like we'd discuss things we had to do. But like me and Christy had like specific chairs we would sit in every practice and we'd sit there and like, yes, she's talking and I'm listening, but it's also like there are things that like I have to get done. And she also understood that, like especially at Michigan, like they know that your classes come first, but it's like you're traveling, like there honestly is more than enough time. You're sitting on a bus for 5 hours, like there is enough time to like just keep working. And it's like it is hard. Like it's not easy to just like you could sit there the whole ride and sleep, but like you have to just it really is the Michigan difference. Like no matter what you say, like I just kept doing my work as I was doing it. And obviously there were perks like getting out of class, like to travel or things like that.
You wouldn't bring a folding chair into the big house on a Saturday in November. That's not protection, that's decoration. In Michigan, we know the difference between showing up and being built for the moment. Whether it's under the lights in Ann Arbor or when 100,000 are on their feet. There's a reason you don't trust lightweight gear in a heavyweight moment. That's like letting the other team keep score. Technically possible, but probably not in your favor. When you're injured because of someone else's negligence, the stakes are real. Medical bills stack up, work gets missed, stress builds fast. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm, and they've been fighting for the people for over 35 years. With more than $30 billion recovered for clients and over 1,000 lawyers across 100 offices nationwide, they have the size and experience to go toe-to-toe when it matters most. Hiring Morgan & Morgan is like lining up in the big house, full roster, ready for 4 quarters. If you're ever injured, check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/hail2her. Not all law firms are the same. This is a paid advertisement.
So I took a Buddhism class with Adam Fantilli, Luca, and Keenan Draper my sophomore year. And we had to go, it was like one of those discussions and like then you had to go once a week and sit there. And funny enough, like I would travel with the team and eventually I got put in an email and it would just say like, "Dear hockey players, some professors, like, swear to God, didn't know the difference. Like, they would be like, good luck at your game. They would email me like, good luck at your game. So every week I would get, he was an awesome teacher, but every week I would get an email from him and he'd be like, dear Maggie and hockey players, dear hockey players, like, you guys can work together on this. And I would just laugh so hard because, like, truly, like, we traveled as a unit and, like, we helped each other. And, like, that's what it was about. Like, even though, like, they were playing and, like, I wasn't, like, we did help each other. Yeah, we were still all students. Yeah. So, like, balancing that was, like, hard, but, like, we helped each other out.
Yeah. I think that's really cool, too, because, I mean, you're not physically on the ice, but you are putting in so much time to make their content really good. Why did you choose stamps for school?
That's a great question. So I played lacrosse growing up.
Okay.
I loved it. Like, probably not as much as you did, but I just loved sports.
Yeah.
And then my junior year, I, like, happened to have surgery. I couldn't play anymore. And my mom was like, Maggie, like, you're really, like, creative. Like, go. Like, she, like, forced me to go to these painting classes. Like, I did not want to go. Like, swear to God, like, so I thought cute. It was so weird. I remember, and then when I get there, I would, like, have so much fun. So I literally pulled my portfolio together, like, within a year. So I was like, okay, I'm going to apply. Like, wow. I just wanted to go to Michigan, honestly. So I applied, and I happened to get in, and, like.
So you got into stamps. Like, you started stamps from the beginning.
Yeah, so I think they admit, like, 150 people or something? Like, my class was very small. Like,
Maggie, how did you do that?
I don't know. Like, I guess I was more creatively inclined. People don't know that about me. Like, people don't know that I can paint and draw. Like, it's just, like, a fun fact, I feel like, nowadays, because, like, it's not something I showcase. But, like, I truly did love being in stamps, especially my junior and senior year, because it was just, like, you were surrounded by creative people and, like, people that really did want to just, like, make cool stuff. And, yeah, so I just did stamps. I got in. And freshman year, like, I did not like it. I don't know if anyone really loved stamps freshman year. And then sophomore year, you have to, like, basically plead your case in front of, like, a bunch of professors. Like, this is what I've created so far, and, like, this is why you should let me continue.
What did you create?
I happened to create, I was big into, like, kids in, like, hospitals. So I happened to create, like, a giant painting of, like, a kid on, like, a operating table. And it was like a huge collage. But you had to showcase, like, all these different things that you had made, but, like, that was my main piece. And it was really important to me because, like, that following year, I did a lot of posters for Michigan Medicine for, like, athletes' mental health.
That's awesome.
And I think it all ended up kind of coming together. So I was really glad I was in stamps.
Yeah. I think it's really cool because someone with your job you'd probably think that they would be a communications major in sports management, but the fact that you were able to do school and be doing that side of your life and art and what makes you happy in that sense and also be able to do sports, I think is really cool. Your senior year, you created a piece for the head hockey coach's office. Tell me about that.
So Nar had been, like, he was on a redecorating spree in the office. Every day we'd come in and, like, something new was being done, and, like, he just, like, really wanted to make the space homey. And we had I had, like, sat in a few meetings with him just discussing, like, what he wanted. And obviously he's a sports guy, and so I was trying to kind of, like, create what he was saying the best I could. I kind of came to this realization that he just honestly wanted, like, he wanted Red Barrison at the top. He wanted Yost. He wanted it to be about, like, being a Michigan man. So we put, like, but beyond that, he wanted people to know that, like, even if you graduate and, like, you don't go on to play hockey, like, we have a lot of cool people who went on to do a lot of awesome things. Like, we had doctors, like, we had, like coaches, like, just people who are just, like, I think we had, like, a lawyer, like, something really cool.
More than hockey.
Yeah, so we eventually, like, settled on this, like, huge mural of, like, Yost with Red Barrison, and I think the left side was, like, all hockey players. We, like, put numbers on them that, you know, he felt like were, like, needed to be showcased. Yeah. And on the right, we had, like, a bunch of players that went on to do different things.
That's so cool.
It took a while, I will say.
Yeah, how long did that take you?
I think we started that in, like, October, and we worked on it probably, like, a week after I graduated, like, in May.
Wow.
It was just a lot of, like, obviously. Like, it's a lot of,
you
like,
want to get it right.
nitpicking.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, like, erasing, redrawing, and, like, I was drawing it on my iPad. So that's...
You were drawing it on your iPad?
Yeah, so basically the idea was that instead of me staying at Yoast into the wee hours of the night, which probably wouldn't have been the safest of circumstances, like, on a ladder, like, physically drawing it on, they were like, draw it, and then we'll get it, like, decaled on. So I did draw the whole thing on my iPad, and that was awesome, but it did leave a lot more room for, like, detail that, like,
you had to add,
took hours, but I loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure you were really proud of it after you finished it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so you also worked with Lauren Rodolitz, and you met a lot of really amazing people as an intern and just working in the athletics department at Michigan. Tell me about what kind of inspired both of you guys to go in the directions that you did. Because she's with the Columbus Blue Jackets now, right? And what is her role?
She is a social media coordinator.
Okay, so tell me about how your bond was formed.
I was a freshman. She was a junior when we started. And I remember we, like, both went to the rink. And it was, like, I just remember, like, specifically what we were wearing. Because, like, I feel like nowadays it's like, what are you wearing to the rink? Like, that wasn't a thing. Like, when I first started, I specifically remember I was wearing a Michigan hockey hoodie with a leather jacket over it. No, like, I think it haunts me in my dreams. And, like, I'm like, what was I doing? And she was, like, in this, I just remember, like, I remember her being like, so my real name's Margaret. And I remember her being like, I searched up Margaret, like, 1,000 times. Like, couldn't find her on social media. Like, I thought she was going to be, like, I didn't know who she was going to be, like, whatever. And I think, honestly, it didn't click. So Lauren actually started a little bit before me. Okay. She was there for, like, media day, and I had just started, like, when the hockey season started. So she had connected with, like, Gabrielle, who she worked for the Sabres for a while. And then basically I think what worked for us is, like, Lauren and I just clicked because I think she knew in her role, like, she was kind of leading. She was a little bit older than me. And I think she taught me a lot about, like, how to work with the players, like, where the line is, like, how to make people look good. And I think eventually, like, we just became best friends. And I honestly think that's why it worked, because we were friends outside of hockey. Like, we'd leave the rink and we'd go and hang out.
That's
and,
awesome.
Like, that creates that, like, awesome communication that you, like, need in a job like social media, because, like, if you're not friends and, like, you're working all hours of the night, like, it's not fun for either of you, and, like, you're not going to be as, like, your creative juices are not going to be flowing. And so I think honestly what worked is, like, we just were all best friends, and, like, we pushed each other to, like, do more.
Yeah. I think it's cool that you say that, because it's really special when you have other women in the space, and you've seen, obviously, you're a manager in your first year out of school, and she's been doing such amazing things with the Blue Jackets, and I think it's cool that you were able to have her kind of mentor you a little bit and just learn with her. And you kind of mentioned this, your fashion and style that you bring to your job and your role in sport. I remember my first hockey broadcast that I did, and with Big Ten Plus my senior year, and I remember walking around and I saw you. We were friends at the time, but had not gotten super close. And I remember the first thing I noticed was your outfit, and you were in, like, this beautiful blazer and, like, boots and pants, and I was like, that is how you do it. Like, if you are going to show up anywhere and be, no matter what your role is as a woman in sport, like, that's the time to showcase who you are. You know what I mean? So talk to me about your fashion and all of that.
I think, like, freshman year, I have no idea. I just randomly showed up one day in a blazer. And I remember my coworkers looking at me and being like, I didn't know, like, we were supposed to dress like that. And I was like, well, I don't know either. I just, like, wanted to do it, which is so random, because, like, if anyone knew me growing up, like, swear to God, like, I grew up in 2 different T-shirts, a Michigan soccer T-shirt, and a Miami of Ohio swimming shirt. Like, that's all I would wear. No one could get me in jeans. No one was getting me, like I wanted to be comfortable. Like, I was
so funny.
Nothing, like, I would not get dressed. And then I think eventually it was kind of like, you were at all these rinks, and it's like, if you don't, you have a credential, but it's like, if you don't distinguish yourself in some way, you're just, like, kind of another girl walking around. And, like, I don't think people honestly give you the same respect as if you were like dressed in a way that you're working. And I saw that the most at other rinks. Like we would travel and people would be like, oh no, like you can't be down here, like the family section is over there. And I'd be like, no, like I'm working, like I'm trying to work. And they would like, I think eventually it was like, no, like you have to dress the part, because if you're not, like people think you're a fan, or like it just honestly, like I think respecting yourself and how you dress like makes other people respect you more.
Yeah. I think that's really cool, because that's kind of something that is similar for me. Like I grew up in athletic clothes, but my mom is she doesn't even go to the grocery store without high heels on. And so as I got older and it's me outside of sport now, I'm like, okay, I'm not showing up anywhere, not looking the part, no matter what I'm doing, because at the end of the day, if you look like that and you have your credential, and nobody is going to question you. No. And I think it's so prominent as a woman too. Like you mentioned to me before this, you were one of 2 women in all of your job, right?
Yes.
In the entire company. So like you have to show up and look the part and be respectable.
Yeah, and I think like that just comes with, like I think dressing up and looking well for yourself also gives you like a confidence, and like that also is just more like no one's gonna question you. Like if I walked into Yoast today, I feel like it would be like, I don't know that anyone would question why I'm there, just because I like know where I'm going, and like I know, like I always will say like never burn a bridge, because like the event staff there, like I've always so nice to them and so important to me, because like, you walk in nowadays and you're like, they remember you, they remember like how you talk to them, and like it's important.
Yeah. And now you can come around, and I'm sure they would never be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Here? Because that's where you spent 4 years. So tell me about getting the job at USHL, literally your first year out of college.
So after I graduated, I worked for like a luxury, they did like media for luxury hotels out of LA.
So were you in LA?
No.
Okay.
So it was remote, and then eventually it was moving in person, and I just don't think LA wasn't on track for me. I don't think I wanted to be out there. So I ended up transitioning out of that, and I just did a lot of freelance in my time. And then I happened to like, actually my mom saw the job posting for the USHL, and they were like, it was like a digital media manager. And I remember thinking, oh, like people my age don't really get those.
Yeah,
like
you don't want to hit manager, because
people just like, people wait a long time to be a manager, specifically in sports. So I feel like it was kind of a long shot, but I ended up applying, and one of the assistant coaches at Michigan, I think people obviously in the Michigan hockey office, so like I told them, I was like, oh, I was applying, does anyone know anyone? And one of our goalie coaches like had known, I think it was my boss at now, and reached out and was like, Maggie's applying, like please like look at her application, like whatever. And then I kind of just went through the application process and did a couple interviews, and then they offered it to me. My one interview was like with like everyone, and it was kind of crazy, and I've never had an interview process like that. Like the commissioner was asking me a lot of like hard questions, and I remember just thinking like, I know this. Like I remember interviewing for other jobs and being like, oh, I was kind of like trying to come up with answers, and like, and I remember like them asking me questions and being like, no, like I actually know what I'm talking about, and it's like, like I know the stats, and like I know what I'm doing, and like so I felt confident in like what I was saying, and I think that's what worked.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be full circle for you too, because you grew up a hockey girl, and like in that world, and to be in that kind of role as a woman your first year out of school is amazing. How many people do you oversee?
3 technically.
Okay. Wow. So what does your day-to-day life look like right now?
So this job's kind of awesome because they try to keep it to a 9 to 5 mostly, but I kind of came in like right in the middle of the season. So it's kind of crazy, and it was like they call it like they were like baptism by fire. They were like just throw you into the chaos.
Wow.
So like I'll work the weekends, but it's not like I'm sitting there for hours and hours unless I'm watching games. So like there's 16 teams on a given night. There could be 1 game, there could be 8 games. So when there's 8 games, there's a lot happening, and like you got 2 screens going, and you're pulling highlights from like multiple different platforms, and like you're posting consecutively just to keep people updated. And then the main thing there that I really had to learn was like how to write press releases, how to write recaps. And like my boss had taught me before, but I really had never done it. Like really like looking at the game and pulling highlights and like pulling numbers and like
being a journalist
right,
in that sense.
Right. And like I'd never really like, and I've always loved writing, and I never really thought I'd get to use it, honestly. So honestly, I was pretty psyched about that. Like I was like, I really like writing. Like obviously like these types of recaps look different. It's not like long paragraphs. It's more like this person got this, like this score, whatever. But like day to day, it's a lot of like meetings, and we have like weekly meetings with like all 16 teams. Like we'll meet and I'll go over like last week we had one and I went over like, oh, like this is what we do with collabs, or like this is how we should be working on this. Like it's athletic trainer month, like send me all of this that you have. And like it's a hard role to come into and being like, no, like this is how I'm going to do it. But like I believe that what I do works. So I feel
and
like
you got the job. Exactly.
And I feel like, yes, in a way I was kind of like, I think this is what we should do. But like, I think there's a way to do it like correctly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's awesome, because I think I've always loved, as like being the youngest of four, I've never really gotten to lead. And like, I think that is like something I loved at Michigan. Like Cameron works for Michigan hockey now. And like, I love Cameron with all my heart. And like her asking me questions, like makes my day. She's like, oh, I hope I'm not bugging you. I'm like, no, like I would love to I love to lead and like help people. And like,
that's awesome.
And I think that is really what came from this role, to be honest.
That's so cool. And you can really see it, because when you left and Cameron stepped into that role, just seeing the mentorship, like you coming back, driving into Ann Arbor on a game weekend and being there and walking around Yost helping her, it really is so cool to watch, and keeping up with your social media has been so much fun. Talk to me about your leadership, but in your clothing brand that you just launched. Tell me about all of that.
Okay. So me and my sisters just launched a clothing brand. It's called 4th Street Collective.
What does that mean? What does the title mean?
Basically, it just came from, honestly, there being 4 of us.
Okay.
There wasn't that much thought behind it. But we honestly...
I like it, though.
Well, we just thought, like, 4 sisters is honestly pretty unique. And, like, I just think that it's cool that, like, we all come from vastly different backgrounds. Like no one in my family is doing what I'm doing. And, like, I'm not... One of my sisters does, like, tax. And, like, that is, like... She's a rock star and she's so good at it. But, like... That is way over my head, like way over my head. So my mom actually sat us down like in the summer and was like, I think we have something here. Like my mom is like biggest supporter. She's like, I think we got something here. You guys all have different backgrounds. Like, let's do something. And so our first thing we thought was like, let's do a sweatshirt brand. Overdone a little bit, but I think where it changes is that, so basically I think in high school, I like had friends, but like I had my sisters, right? Like, I think I didn't have the best of group of friends in high school. Like, there's a couple people I still talk to today, but like not
it's
like college,
school,
right? And I think when I got to college, specifically probably like sophomore, junior year, like specifically with Michigan hockey, I was like, this is what it feels like to have a family like outside of your family. Like, I felt so welcome. I was so myself. And so I think that is where Joined the Family Business came from. Because I was like, I just want people to feel welcome. Like, I am the type of person, like, if there's a party, I'm like, please invite everyone. Like, because honestly, being on the outside of that is, like, top 10 worst feelings ever. Like, not being invited to something, worst feeling ever. Like, I just want everyone to know, like, you might not have, everyone's family looks different, but, like, I wanted everyone to know that, like, you could be a part of our family. Whether it looks like the Michigan colored one, like, oh, you went to Michigan. Like, you might not have the biggest friend group at Michigan, but, like, Michigan is your family. Like, and I think that was, like, a really important thing for me to put out there because, like, I just feel so deeply about, like, wanting everyone to have a family, whether it's blood or not.
That's so cool. And you have red and white ones, right? For the Red Wings, I'm assuming.
We did the Red Wings. We were like, maybe get some Ohio State fans. I don't know. Like,
no,
hate
I'm
that,
just kidding. You can be a part of it. But they're so cute. And it's really cool that that's what inspired it, because obviously different clothing brands have different meanings, but that being the reason, especially coming from 4 sisters, I feel like it's really hard to have 4 daughters. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's so,
my dad is tired.
Yeah. I love that though. I think it's really cool, and you know, I'm sure that they've kind of molded you into who you are, but it's really awesome that they're so different than you.
My one sister, who's actually does the taxes, she honestly was the bigger hockey fan growing up.
Really?
She well, can we bring this up? Like, we used to go to Red Wings game, and we were all swimmers growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a Red Wings swim cap. She would like wear it. We'd go to the rink, and she would have it on. Like, she would put it on. She was so excited to be there. I just remember that so distinctly. I remember her like wearing it to the game and being so happy. Like, and I just remember thinking like, wow, like that is love of the game.
That is commitment.
It is commitment. Like, I just remember her loving it, and like I just think it grew from there. Like, my dad to this day will be like, I can't believe like you're the one working in hockey, but like I think it like created bonds definitely within my family that like I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's awesome. So beyond your first year working with the world's leading hockey league, junior hockey league, tell me what your goals are as you continue in your career.
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, honestly, like my short-term goals right now are just like getting those socials going. I think that the USHL has done an awesome job, obviously, but like their TikTok has like 6,000 followers, and like it's something to grow on. So I think my short-term goal right now is like I just want to get that moving, because like I think for me it's like coming into Michigan, like we had awesome players, so it was like they were gonna get attention. Yes, I hope to God like I was the reason a lot of these things were going viral, but like we had a lot of awesome players that like were gonna get attention no matter what. I think with this it was kind of like a new challenge. I was like going in, I have to find content, like figure out like what the sweet spot is. Like I kind of really want to just like draw attention to this league, because I feel like there's so many connections that this league has. Like 25% of the USHL league like creates the NHL.
Yes.
So like it's huge. It's the only like top tier 1 league in America.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I just want to grow it, and hopefully like doing that, like I just move up. I just want to keep moving up. I think eventually, like obviously, like I honestly have loved my group of people I'm working with right now, but like eventually if I could move up to like the NHL, I would love to do that. But like I'm at a good spot right now.
That's an amazing opportunity.
It's no rush.
Yeah.
I think eventually, like if I could do more like campaign wise, I would love to do that. Just like tap more into my creative side. But I think right now it's just about focusing on the job I have.
Yeah. I mean, you're crushing it. You are it's been so cool to talk to you, because although you weren't a college athlete, you were an athlete and you were in the space, and seeing how successful you've been so far has been so cool. And I need to lean on you for some social media help, because I think whatever you're doing works. So I might have to use you for like be my social media manager.
Of course.
But thanks for being here, Maggie.
Of course.
It was so fun to talk to
Thank
you.
you for
But
having me.
I am so excited to follow you.
Yay.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.